Follow the footsteps of Jesus. Find out how in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. For the first 9 years of my life, I lived in Midland, Texas. We didn't get much snow in West Texas, so we didn't have all the snow equipment that families living in the northern United States might have. We didn't need it. But on the occasion that it did snow, my mother wanted to make sure that her children had the appropriate footwear. We didn't have snow boots, so she fashioned some out of bread wrappers. She took the plastic wrapper off of a loaf of bread and slipped our shoes into it, tying it all snugly around our legs with a rubber band. My sister and I headed out in the freshly fallen snow, looking like walking advertisements for Wonder Bread. My mom's inventiveness worked, mostly, but I found a better way to stay dry. My dad had already walked around the yard in his boots. All I had to do was walk in his footprints in the snow. He'd already pressed the snow down into the ground. As long as I stepped in his footprints, my bread wrapper boots stayed dry. Peter describes the key to living for Christ, even during difficult days. Follow in his footsteps. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21, the Bible says, "For to this you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example, so that you might follow in his steps." In the previous verses, Peter describes the command for Christians to live a life of humility, to live a life as a servant to others. This goes against the grain of our human intuition. As believers, we're children of the king. In earthly terms, the child of a king served no one. The children of Roman emperors certainly did not serve anybody. But Jesus left an example for us, a life poured out in service to others. The word that Peter uses for example is a word that means to trace. It was used as a title for an ancient textbook for children to learn how to write the alphabet. The idea was that they would take the book and trace the letters, learning how to make the shapes that eventually would become words. Anyone can be an artist if they're allowed to trace the work of a master artist. We can live like Christ because we have his example. The old gospel hymn captures the thought, "Sweetly, Lord, have we heard thee calling, come, follow me. And we see where thy footprints falling lead us to thee." Footprints of Jesus that make the pathway glow. We will follow the steps of Jesus where'er they go. That's our calling, to follow the footsteps of Jesus, to immerse ourselves in his example through his word, to seek his wisdom and his way in prayer, and to depend upon his strength as we live out his example. You can make your life a masterwork by tracing the work of the master. And now, you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from his word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.